Welcome back to the Marks Podcast. My name is Dan, joined by my co-host, the Inside Man, Gerard Millette. To my direct south, someone who's grown up, someone who does no longer want to be referred to as the kid, the modern-day Jaharasha, Jacob McGovern. What's going on, boys?
I have to do the pose like he Should I play the song though, or do you want to get copyrighted this fast?
I would like not to get copyrighted struck. I mean, that's the hope. But
yeah. Hey Dan, before we begin, I got to do one thing. I got to say, I would get hell if I didn't do this. Happy birthday to my mother. She's 81 years young, still sharp as a butter knife. Love you.
Happy birthday to Gerard's mom.
Jesus Christ, 81.
I thought Gerard was 81. But seeing as Gerard is so old.
You know what's unfortunate? You know what's unfortunate about that though is that Gerard's mom could literally whip Hangman Adam Page. Like, if you put Gerard's mom in the middle of the ring with Hangman Page, you get a better viewing than you ever would have with Hangman against Jay White. You know, I'm talking.
I like that match. I thought it would told a good story anyway. But as we were discussing last week, and now we're going to carry on to this week. Wrestling has changed, right? Like wrestling's to a point now where it's back on a boom. I'm not going to say it's quite Steve Austin in the 90s, whooping that ass and throwing fingers up, throwing beers, having a good old time. But I'm definitely seeing something different where it's okay to be a wrestling fan. I don't care what the fucking Rock says. He didn't make it popular. What they're putting together is making it popular. A introduction of competition has made it popular. And I'm of the opinion that had there not been a AEW, we would not have had this change we had in WWE. So, in that same breath, can you guys tell me what's caused this change, what it is? What do you think has caused everything to turn around as far as wrestling?
I think. Oh, well, I'll let Gerard go first, actually, because Gerard has better insight. For me, I'm Dan. I feel like the way I'm going to go on this. I'm going to be trashing a certain company.
Well, so I'm sure you are.
Here's my couple things on that. Okay, with the internet. Fans have gotten a lot better at following companies and stuff like that. Mr. McMahon stepping aside.
Finally, you acknowledge that. Okay. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Was he past his time? In most part, yes, I believe he was. Triple H came in. You have a younger guy. He can connect better with the athletes of today because he probably did a lot of the same training that they did. And you have a building block of success in one company. And, you have the concrete hellhole in the other one where they can't put concrete on top of the other concrete to make the block stick together. So one's the Three Little Pigs that has the built his house of brick. The other one is still straw and hay and stuff like that. And until they get away from the straw and hay, basically the piecemeal approach to professional wrestling, that's all they're ever going to be. One right now, hurricanes, tornado, earthquakes, tsunamis, whatever you want to call it, can't derail them right now. And they're playing it smart. They're going around the world. They're not just keeping it in every U.S. building. So
okay, I'm glad you said that, okay, because that's one thing. I'm not a fan of it because I like American homegrown wrestling. That's just who I am, even though I'm a fan of other, like I like New Japan, I like AAA and all that, but all honesty, I like my homegrown wrestlers. That's one thing AEW is very good at, is being international. They have brought in wrestlers from Mexico, from the UK, from Canada. They've brought a bunch of different guys in, but you don't have a story with them. And like I saw two wrestlers who I've never even heard of, and I'm like, what's the build on this? You're putting these people on national TV. You're denying your guys a platform who are already over or already established for these guys who, the next El Hijo de Trabajo or whatever the fuck this next guy is. I don't know who this fucking guy is. Who the fuck is it? He's got a mask on. That's the son of work. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And that I will agree with you. AEW is dropping the ball there. I don't know. I don't know what
I'm talking about the touring. I'm not talking about the guys that you're bringing in. I'm talking about the way they're touring. Instead of killing the American market because they're not hitting the same building 3 or 4 times in a row, they say, okay, we'll do our shows here. We'll go overseas, go back over there, then come back to the States. Let the fans miss us because we haven't been around in the States for a little while. And boom, where AEW, it's like they got some buildings on the same circuit every 3 months.
Well, for AEW, like they only run like certain areas like out, like because AEW, they're basically a Florida and Texas, promotion, basically, like the way they run their shows. And honestly, like I live out in Arizona. Oh shit, we got my dad in the chat. I just see that, we got Robert McGovern. That's my dad. But no, like for AEW, like we have shows out here in Phoenix that like we only had 2 big shows out here in Phoenix for Dynamites, and like if you put a pay-per-view out here in Phoenix, like it would get some numbers. I guarantee it probably would, because people like wrestling out here in Phoenix. But for the problem, and Dan asked a completely different question, but like the problem is just like they keep running their same areas, and now they're dwindling their own areas that they run. If that makes any sense. Well,
that also is counterproductive to the past, right? If we're supposed to move with the future, we should learn from the past. A lot of the big, and you remember this, Gerard, being that you're ancient. You remember back in the days of Crockett Promotions, right? Like, if they would not have expanded as fast as they did, a lot of people believe that Jim Crockett would still be in business today. But he decided, let's center place in Vegas, and we'll take a private jet from here to here and do this. And they try to expand to California from the Carolinas too fast. Is that a wrong philosophy for AEW to have? I mean, what do you think?
Well, look at it like this. Vince McMahon, when WWF was first getting off the ground, he still filmed out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, Poughkeepsie, New York. He still filmed out of these 2,000-seat buildings, but what did he do? He turned it syndication. So he said, I'm still going to film in these low risk arenas, send my stuff out to TVs, see what kind of ratings I can get there. Then I'll do my house shows and stuff like that on the road, get the fans. So basically, he could look at the numbers, and say, hey, if I'm doing these kind of numbers in this town, I'm going to put a live number there. I'm going to put a live show in that town. So in other words, he'd build up where he'd get the live shows, because up and down the East Coast, he got great numbers on the live
and him buying out the territories kind of didn't really it added to that, especially during that time.
Yeah, and that's how you build it. Like Tony Khan, if he could get a city by city breakdown of what towns and what cities are giving him his best numbers, go there.
Well, and if we just saw it, like Maple Leaf Pro just had their first show a couple days ago. They had their first with Scott D'Amore, and Tony Khan's having AEW talent on that show, and it's like, shit, man, build up the territory right there in Canada, because Canada is so untapped as far as pro wrestling goes.
Now, my question is, on that show, how many people on that show, if they were a wrestler, had underneath AEW whatever?
Yeah, there was a few.
Because that's another one of their problems is, and I've seen it around here to where an AEW show, a guy might come out, do a comedy show or something like that, and on the flyer it says nothing about him being an AEW performer. Nothing. Yeah.
But I mean, some of that comes down to the wrestler. He's not going to force. Okay, so there's a line.
Your main job is you're an AEW. Once you put your name on an AEW contract, your main job is to work for AEW.
They have Takeshita in the main event against Josh Alexander for the international title. That's already that's good promotional tactics from AEW right there. But the problem is,
hold on, Jacob, hear me out though. But here's the problem that lies there. You're drawing a line here, and it's early on enough that we can notice it. One of the big issues with WWE during the Vince regime is that they weren't allowed to have TikToks, they can't have YouTubes, you can't have Twitches, you can't have any kind of social media, or WWE has to take at least 65% of your cut from that. That was a big fucking deal for a long time. Not till recently, people like Up, Down, Down with Xavier Woods, they worked a deal out so they can have their YouTube channels. And one of the drawing factors for people going from WWE over to AEW was the fact that they keep their social media and have that sort of presence online. So what now? Do we just have AEW say, okay, you can have this Twitch, you can have this YouTube, you can have all this jazz, but you have to put a third that says AEW?
That's my thing. In all the professional sports, you sign on with a team. Anything you do outside of that, still got to go through the team. You still got to go through it.
But does that become
but the issue with that is like Xavier Woods basically effectively sold his he had the channel before he signed with WWE, and he effectively sold that to basically be a WWE channel, like essentially. And then you have a guy like Zack Ryder, when like if you look at it, like WWE wouldn't have any type of presence on social media without Zack Ryder. As weird as that sounds,
when he was the internet champion, and
he started the like breakdown, like, and we've talked about it how like the breaking of kayfabe killed wrestling. Like Zack Ryder was kind of one of the guys during that period, and he kind of like it was kayfabe totally, but then like you knew like it was Zack Ryder like he was getting himself over.
If you notice,
like without Zack Ryder, there wouldn't be Being the Elite, there wouldn't be any of these dumb YouTube shows.
If you notice, it was never like that with Cena. You want to know why it wasn't like that with Cena?
Because they were sticking money up his ass, hand over fist.
What's the one thing with Cena? If you use your own name, they don't own your name. When you make up a thing, their thing was if you're going out making a name off the ring name that we're using for you, that's a whole different thing, because now we got intellectual property over that. What
if I've been Bobby Stinkfish Jones for the last 10 years? I've always been Bobby Stinkfish Jones. I'm Stinkfish Jones.
Yeah, but to be fair with the Zack Ryder case, like he wasn't always Zack Ryder, and then he kind of did I can see that argument for it, but like also, he did break down a lot of barriers, especially for how they conduct their social media now.
But then we draw a line here, because think about it. If AEW decides that no, we want you to put a third in every YouTube stream you do, every Twitch stream you do that says AEW or an AEW superstar, does that become, a dictatorship? Does it lead to them having to pay them a cut? Now you become more like WWE.
Well, put it this way: if all you got to do is put on there saying AEW superstar or AEW performer, because you're signed a contract to AEW. Now, listen, I've had this argument with other people. Once you sign your name on that dotted line saying you are a performer for this company, and it goes like that with any job that you sign your contract to, if you can't put your name on a Google thing and then go work for freaking, Elon Musk. No, you're once you sign your dotted line, unless you want to be an at-will employee to where it doesn't matter, that's how it should be. All these professional athletes who go out and they want to make a living off that, and I'll put it like this: the college football, what's it, NILs or whatever like that. Okay, yes. Did it take a long time for college athletes to have that? Now there's a lawsuit saying people want to get reimbursed for past stuff and stuff like that. Listen. And the reason why college football did it a lot, because they didn't want people getting bought in college football. But,
Yeah, okay, but the problem was with college football, and granted, this is a wrestling podcast. You don't talk about college football.
No. You're talking about nothing I know anything about. So.
But the problem with that, though, Gerard, was they were making money. Companies like EA, the video game company, was making money off of these fucking kids' names, putting them in.
That is true. There's a whole segment on South Park about that, where Cartman comes in. He's Eric B. Cartman. He's like, how are we gonna maximize their likes for video games? He's like, are you talking about our student athletes? Oh, slaves, student athletes.
Some of them student athletes, though, you're getting their $200,000 education for free. Now, I can pay you. I want your money for that $200,000 education, and
Yeah, but you're going to take away their scholarships that they earned.
How they earn them? Because they could play a game.
They play again. That's what I'm talking about. You're getting down a slippery slope here.
And I'm saying, when it comes to the professional wrestling part of it,
when it comes to this, like with wrestling, like look at Mandy Rose. Like Mandy Rose basically got fired, essentially for having an OnlyFans and. And listen, I'm not gonna,
1999, that flies.
Well,
That's
hey,
fine
man,
for 1999.
Mandy Rose was doing God's work. I'm not gonna lie.
But why'd you pick her then? Why'd you pick her? Why could you pick Mae Young?
Because
well, here's the
they're
thing.
gonna
Here's the thing. Like, if a current superstar who's on AEW, Abaddon has an OnlyFans, but like, it's nothing with her. Like, nothing on her thing is sexual. It's essentially like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these women have outside sources, and like for WWE a long time, like you couldn't do anything outside, and now it's like a situation where like Zelina Vega got released for having a Twitch account, and like all she did was just play video games. Like,
and the problem again, Soraya, she refused to fucking take her Twitch down and she told him, "I'm not doing it."
I have no sympathy for Soraya, but
watch your tone about Soraya Bevis. Anyway, but what I'm getting at, Gerard and Jacob, is that again, do we start drawing that line there because that's where they're making their side money? And go back to the UFC, right? Another company that TK owns the UFC, they own the WWE. Whenever UFC decided to take away brand partnerships and they could only wear the Reebok fight gear, people had a problem with it because they were making money hand over fist as far as their sponsorships. The UFC went through a whole kind of fucking hell with that.
One thing, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you of this. On this date in 2007, Brock Lesnar became a UFC fighter.
Holy shit! Didn't even think about that.
What? And like,
shout out to the Death Clutch.
Yeah, no, and there's like nothing like as far as sponsors go, like in wrestling.
Who had it on the bottom of their feet? Somebody put a sponsorship on their heel in case they got knocked out, because you would see the bottom of the shoe. I remember who did it. It was great though.
Yeah, but like you have a guy like CM Punk who like back in like 2012, like he wanted to get sponsors and like have fight shorts and like
people wanted to do that, introduce that so the guys can make.
And now there's logos on the mats, there's logos on the sides, and like now it's such a part of wrestling.
Herein lies the fucking problem. If it's making money for WWE, they're fine with it. But when the boys and girls that are fucking, they're the ones putting their bodies at risk and banging themselves up. They want to fucking put something on their trunks, or they want to do something to make some extra money. Why is that a problem?
Well, I've said it for years, and honestly,
hold on, Jacob. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no.
Let me ask you this: is that a good way to offset? So let's just say I'm going to sign you a contract for $1.5 million, okay? And I'm not going to limit you online. Or I'll sign you to a $2 million and you close up your online.
That's the way it was working in AEW. Yes, some of them are getting less money, but they're getting their backside on this other stuff.
And I'm saying, if WWE is doing the same thing, guess what? You can't because they say, "Hey, I
can't." Well, and AEW, and a lot of people can talk shit about Tony Khan, and I will always. But well, Tony, like it's been rumored that Moxley has a favored nations clause. There's a lot of these talents. Like Jericho has health insurance. Like there's a lot of these rumored contracts to these certain talents. Like if Tony Khan really could break down the barrier for that type of contracting with wrestling talent, but like I've said it for years, like you can't unionize wrestling because of what there is involved in wrestling. And I said, like, it'll take someone dying in WWE's ring, again, for them to really consider even thinking about that.
They're not going to consider that because, again,
that would just take them to even thinking about that. Like it would take someone dying in the ring again.
Perfect reason why WWE will never unionize. Wrestling will never unionize. Go back to what happened recently with the shipping stuff and all those shipping yard guys, and they decided, nope, we're going to fucking quit. Fuck you, we're done. And they put the country on a fucking halt. Oh shit, these motherfuckers are on strike. 4 days. 4 days. Remember, everybody's asshole puckered because you're not going to be able to get your fucking toilet paper or your bleach or your fucking guys or whatever the fuck you're trying to get. Your anal bleach or whatever the fuck you're trying to get. You can't get it because the shipyard guys aren't going to deliver it. So yeah, we're going to get struck for that one.
The hell is anal bleach?
Hey, we don't need to go there. We don't need to go there.
What I'm saying is, WWE will never put itself in a position where they have to where the wrestlers can at any point in time go, you know what? We're not wrestling. We got this big fucking card coming up, and until we get more money, we're not wrestling.
Well, no, because usually once you have the contract, and we see it all the time in the other professional sports, as long as the contract's in place, they don't walk until the minute that contract is going to expire, because they can't. They cannot walk out until the contract has expired. Now, what's the greatest way not to have that contract expire? Let the boys have a piece of the pie. Like in the NFL, I think it's 53% of the pie goes to the players. Okay, and every year they come up for negotiations. Every 5 years, what they want 1 or 2% more of that pie. So if in the professional wrestling world, if the wrestlers combined say, "Hey, we want 45% of the pie,"
and CM Punk said it too. He said guaranteed money ruined wrestling because everyone has these guaranteed contracts and what they're going to make. Well, and he said if you made based on what the house drew, it'd be very different.
I will agree with Gerard on one thing. I will agree with Gerard on one thing. Wrestling, just like the UFC, is one of the fucking worst when it comes to compensating their athletes, and this is what I mean. They get maybe their compensation as far as total gross from fucking wrestling is like 10%. They don't get shit compared to what the house is bringing in. You've heard what fucking Aleister Black and them always say, the house always wins. Well, that's a fucking great fucking analogy for wrestling. The house will always win.
Well, last year I think WWE net gross profited $1.5 billion. Okay,
how much was for fucking contracts?
No. The gross profit was $1.5 billion. Well, if they put out $200 million if they put out $200 million, that's 20%.
Well, as someone who doesn't know shit about math and sucks balls at math, I would say how much money has Tony Khan wasted probably in the past year just spending money on?
Listen, I think the 175 he just got from Warner Brothers is his cost to where Warner Brothers.
And there's this thing about this big TV deal. Oh, this TV deal, and it's like it wasn't that much. And this is the only thing that I can see them getting, like, as far as like this TV deal making sense is putting the fucking past pay-per-views on Max and putting AEW on Max the next day.
That's a big deal, and because you're the general consumer.
For the general public, I feel like that's a big deal because who the fuck in the general public cares about AEW? No one's sitting down, hunkering down, watching Collision.
I'll put you like
on
this,
a Saturday night.
And I'm hoping for people watching stuff like that. Okay, the people who, when we talk about who's the man, let's talk about it right now. Is there anybody in AEW that you would say, I'm going to take money out of my pocket and I got to go to this building and watch that guy, buy his merchandise or woman, and enjoy myself because that guy makes me do it? Or I just rather sit at home and watch it for free. That's that. And then on the other end of that, who on the WWE spectrum are you saying that could come to my town? There's so many on that thing that I just can't choose one because I'm waiting. I'm begging because if somebody tells me they got to go see Moxley in person, blah, the sad part is he was part of a group to where he might have been the middleman in the group. Now he's not even in the lower three of them because of how he's fallen off. And if somebody tell me, oh, he is AEW right now, if he's AEW, that just goes to show you how sad of a state that company is in.
Okay, you're saying that, and for maybe me, you. Okay, I can only speak for myself right now because I'm a cheap bastard. There's nobody that I'm going to spend my money to go on. Absolutely, I'm just not going to do it. It's just I'm sorry, that's not where I'm at right now. But I can see in AEW someone like a Darby Allin being that guy that, oh my God, this he's the coolest guy in the world. I got to go see him. I can see kids and teenagers going, and the reason I know this is because I've been at work and I've talked to some of the guys I work with, and their kid goes, I was like, you're into wrestling? I'm like, yeah. You heard about his Dolby guy? Who the fuck is Dolby? And he'll go into detail. Oh yeah, Darby Allin. A fucking kid. My daughter's in love with this motherfucker. I just think he's the coolest guy. He's a weirdo with face paint skateboards. I don't know what the fuck. again, there are people out there. Personally, if you're asking me who the fucking man is right now, and I can't believe I'm going to say this because I was on the bandwagon of saying he was fucking trash and boring as fuck, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the fucking man right now. You go watch him enter a fucking arena, and the three letters you hear as soon as he enters, OTC, OTC. I mean, fuck Sasha Banks and the fucking CEO shit. Fuck her. It's OTC.
No one has ever chanted CEO unironically. Are you kidding me? No one has chanted that unironically.
I knew it was going to get
No one cares about CEO. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, viewer discretion advised for the Marks podcast. All right, this is a Jacob rant. No one cares about Mercedes. No one cares about the CEO chant. They ripped off Walter's fucking theme music. Like what? Like Mercedes didn't hear that, and it's just like, oh, I hear the. Oh, that sounds good. I'm gonna take that. That's gonna be my theme music, and we're gonna go outside, and I'm gonna have. And
her theme music is the same.
Mercedes Moné. She sucks. She's the worst thing to ever happen to wrestling since fucking. No, I'm just kidding. But no, Mercedes Moné. She's okay. That rhymed.
Breathe, Jacob. Breathe.
Wait a minute, hold on. Hey, I'm trying to remember.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Mercedes Moné music is a lot like it was Big Bill and Enzo Amore's. Their entrance music.
They were over though, Gerard. No, don't. I'm saying, that is blasphemy. They were over.
I'm saying the music, the way they do the music, is almost the same as those two guys. But I'll tell you this right now: there is one thing they're both in common for. Mercedes Moné is soft. She's very soft.
So okay, we're transitioning to that. We're gonna.
I'm sure
clearly he's upset. Jacob's upset. So we're gonna transition into that. Okay, we are talking about who the man is, but right now, someone who is not even on the spectrum being the top person is a Mercedes Moné. Was watching JR's grilling with JR. JR's a fucking legend, and he went out and said, he's like, she seems like a nice enough person. She is pretty cool and this and that, but she's not getting over with the fans. Before I go to Jacob and let him go on a fucking tirade because I need him to breathe. Gerard, being someone who's been in the business, you've seen the fucking rise and fall of so many people. Why is she not connecting with the crowd?
Because she walked away from the crowd. She didn't do it the right way. And in the wrestling business, you have to do it the right way. She didn't. She took her backstage politics, took her ball, and walked out the door in the crowd. And then when she comes back, she goes back to a different company. Okay? She didn't do it the right way. She does it the right way, just lets her contract run out. Then she resigns with AEW. The wrestling fans can be very forgiving if you do it the right way. It's when you do it the wrong way, and then when you come and
how
when
many times do you take that beating though, Gerard? Because one, they always start and stopped with her. Ever since she was in NXT, she had that killer fucking tearjerker match with Bayley, right? It was amazing by far in Brooklyn.
Bayley carried her.
I'm not saying she didn't. Calm the fuck down, Jacob. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is it was an amazing match. The heartstrings were pulled. She plays a wonderful heel, and Bayley will always play. Bayley can do whatever the fuck she wants. Bayley's just that talented in the ring. But
here's my thing, Dan. Okay, she relies too much on her outer circle, who she's related to. Okay,
it had nothing to do with Snoop Dogg. Whenever it was the Bayley
listen.
match.
What I'm saying is, Mercedes, stop worrying about your outside distractions. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Make yourself better. To make yourself be the person people want to come to see. When she's on that microphone, I'd rather be watching paint dry.
Hold on. What about this?
Here's
what
the
about
thing.
this wrestler?
Well, okay. Well, Will, we all know you love Chris Statlander. Everyone loves Chris Statlander, and I'm never going to talk bad about Chris Statlander. By the way, I hope to God Chris Statlander beats the shit out of Mercedes. But that's legitimate. But if you're talking about you're saying that Mercedes has ever pushed her family, she's never done that. As far as I've known.
Because
everybody knows her fucking.
To your point, there's nothing there. There is nothing there. There has never been anything there. She has been carried to most of her best matches, unless you're not named Bayley or
Charlotte.
God forbid Charlotte Flair. I hate Charlotte, but Charlotte and Bayley helped her to her best matches. And then she was in a prime spot at WrestleMania and then lost her titles. Well, her and Naomi. Naomi's not off the hook, but they were in the back room crying and complaining because they lost their title belts and they didn't want to do business. They
didn't lose their title belts.
They were champions.
No, hold on. This is the history you're forgetting. It was Bayley and Sasha that lost the belts to the Iconics, who I love the Iconics gimmick. I think the Iconics was amazing. I loved it for what it was.
I want to bully her, Kay.
Don't you hurt me. Billy Kay was a great character.
No. I was agreeing with you. You're saying the Iconics. I was just going.
Hey, let me ask you this. Is Chelsea Green
emphasis? Yeah, emphasis.
But here's the issue I have. Again, I am not a Sasha Banks fan. I'll put that straight up. I'm not a fan of her in-ring work. I think she has been slothering in her fucking in-ring work.
Then what is there? There's nothing.
So, but my issue is right now with them is how many times can they stop and start with her career? I mean, Sasha Banks over and over has had momentum
because Tony Khan has convinced her that she's better than that she is. She's convinced that she's a fucking superstar. She has her own fucking writer. She has her own is there any coincidence that as soon as she showed up, Saraya went away?
Hey Jacob, I think you're wrong.
Saraya has disappeared.
Tony Khan didn't convince her she's better than him. She convinced Tony Khan.
Exactly. No. And Tony Khan was loving it. Tony Khan was loving it. Like he's sitting there listening to this woman. I'm the definition. I once wrestled Bianca Belair in the main event of WrestleMania, but it wasn't only on me. It was only me. It wasn't because of Bianca Belair. It was because of me. Mercedes Moné sucks.
Okay, you're assuming that. Let's talk about fact here, right? Let's talk about fact. Just factual. She's had start-stop with Charlotte Flair back and forth. She's dropped the title. Every time she fucking gets it, she drops it. It's never a long-lasting, okay? It is what it is.
Because she always got injured.
So some of those were due to injury. Some of those, but let's be honest. Her best matches, she's getting credit for, I truly believe, were on the back of somebody else. That first match with Bayley, fucking amazing. I mean, that I'll always go back as one of my favorite. It's up there as far as which one of my favorite matches at WrestleMania was always going to be Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. They put on a fucking clinic, right?
Well, and let's be honest, that's the only fucking good match she's ever had.
Now, hold on. Her and Charlotte on a Raw in fucking Poughkeepsie or somewhere fucking did an amazing job. Love that match. Her and
the only reason was that the first Raw of 2017. Was that the first draft match?
They ended up getting into it, and they were in the crowd back and forth. I thought it was a brutal match. I thought it was good for.
So what you're saying is Mercedes good if she has somebody in the ring to carry her.
That's where I'm going to go with it, because in AEW, she's had maybe 2 solid matches. The match she had with fucking Britt Baker was trash. I'm sorry. And Britt Baker...
because look who she's in the ring with. It's terrible. I'm sorry, man. The only good match she's had in AEW was with Stephanie Vaquer, and now Stephanie Vaquer is in the fucking right spot.
Jacob, don't go there. Don't go there. She already thinks the reason why Stephanie's in.
Oh yeah, that's the whole reason why. Because she's the CEO. Yeah, because that fucking means something. Bayley has a seat. Will makes a great point, and I agree with him. But we're not going to talk about asses in wrestling right now because we'll be here all night. But
what I'm getting at is right now.
We all know how much you like your Yokozuna.
Oh yeah, no. We had Tamina and Nia Jack's still there.
Emi Sakurai. I'm sorry, Mercedes had a really good match with Emi Sakurai recently. That was a damn good match.
Well, okay, so who is her partner though?
Emi Sakurai. I'm saying she's really good.
See, here's the thing: if I watch paint dry, and if I watch paint dry and I go, like if I go take a shit on the floor and be like, hey, here's the shit, that's better than watching paint dry.
Okay, look, clearly, I'm not trying to win you over on Mercedes, but I do think she was justified in leaving WWE.
If she leaves AEW and starts an OnlyFans like Mandy Rose does, then I'll be supportive.
Listen, the match she had the other night against Queen Emanata, whatever her name is, okay? My thing about a lot of times, the sad part
Queen Empanada.
Queen Empanada, whatever her name is. The problem is a lot of times is Mercedes Moné right now in AEW doesn't do anything alone anymore. In WWE, at least she did it alone. If she won a match, she lost a match, she didn't have it to where she put it on somebody else's back. The problem is Tony Khan right now. Tony Khan is doing with Mercedes Moné is what Triple H is doing with Jade Cargill. But Jade Cargill is doing it a hell of a lot better than Mercedes Moné is doing.
That's wrong. That's completely wrong as far as like decision making. Because if you're Tony Khan and you're doing that, you're a fucking moron. Why would you slow burn somebody who's been around the fucking business all these years? Jade, I get.
Wait, the same reason.
Well, because
the same reason.
We're talking about someone who like I said, her best matches have been carried by other people. We're talking about someone who claims that she's from Boston when she's from fucking Los Angeles. And like, I'm not even from Boston, but I claim blasphemy on that shit.
Wait, listen, I'll give her the reason why she does Boston, because that's where she trained, that's where she went to school for it. Her family still lives in Boston, so.
Well, and hey, listen, if she leaned into the whole Snoop Dogg aspect of her character, then it'd be great. But like, her whole thing is that I'm the greatest wrestler, and like,
I'll say this though, there's one thing that we can all agree on, and that the PW Insider shit is bullshit. PW Insider just came out with his top, I want to say, 100 female wrestlers. And I was talking to y'all before we started. We're talking about who the man is. Well, who's the fucking woman, right? And as of PW Insider, Tiffany Stratton is not even in the top fucking 8.
To be fair, though, Tiffany Stratton didn't really get, like, her buzz didn't really...
Are you kidding me right now? That her in the Hell in a Cell last year was fucking epic.
Yeah, but, like, who really cares about, like, that's the thing, like, no one really cared at that point. You know,
listen,
now it's more...
Her finishing move, when she does it, I don't care who you are. Look at the crowd when she goes up and does her finishing move, good, bad, or indifferent. Whoever she's in the ring with, the crowd pops when she goes up to do that finishing move.
Let me tell you right now, these are the top 8 we talked about earlier. These are the top 8, and Tiffany Stratton's not any of them. Number 8, Willow Nightingale. Number 7, Bailey. Number 6, Sari from Stardom Marigold. I'm not expecting y'all to know who that is.
Oh, that's, yeah.
From NXT, the new signee, Stephanie Vakir. Love her to death. Love her fucking shit. She's amazing. Stardom, another one, Maki. Number 4, and I figured she'd be higher up, but Rhea Ripley. Sorry, that was number 3. Number 2.
Why is she not number 1? She has to be at least number 1 or number 2.
Number 2 is the juggernaut, Jordan Grace. I love Jordan Grace. And as of PW's top 250, Timeless Tony Storm is number 1.
Let me guess. Dave Meltzer did that, right?
I'm not sure, but I know how much you love David Meltzer.
Well, let me put it to you like this. I think they're accurate. I think they have Rhea Ripley honestly ranked way too low.
Absolutely.
I think Rhea Ripley honestly should be number 1. I think Tony Storm is at, I don't know, because I think Tony Storm could be like 2 or 3 for me.
So let me say this, okay? In the last year, the 2 top storylines in wrestling have been, and they're both WWE, the Bloodline and the Judgment Day. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about women, right?
Hold on. I know, that's what I'm saying. The Bloodline and the Judgment Day, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The Judgment Day was carried by Rhea fucking Ripley.
Exactly. No, we don't have Tamina Snuka or fucking Nia Jax in the bloodline. So, yeah, Rhea Ripley wins right away.
So the Judgment Day carrying the fucking Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley doing all that, how the fuck is she not higher up?
let me ask you.
Well,
Okay,
Rhea Ripley, I think Rhea should be number one, and then you have Tony right under her.
Wait,
No. I can make an argument for Toni Storm because her transformation into timeless Toni Storm has been fucking incredible.
Hey, here's a thing.
Oh my god, dude! When she was doing that promo where she was walking barefoot over the glass, I'm just like, shit. I'm like, can she just like throw that glass in my fucking face? No, I'm just kidding. Not really.
When she told the story at a fucking press conference after a pay-per-view about having sexual relations with Wendy Richter, I damn near lost my shit.
Oh, I was saying it for years. I'm like, who would you pick? Would you pick, the Bella Twins or Wendy Richter? And I'm like, I would pick Wendy Richter.
Gerard, would you pick Wendy Richter or the Bella Twins?
Depends on which Bella Twin. The real one or the fake one?
I say Wendy Richter all the time. It's like, you're not gonna remember what the fucking Bella Twin is. Fucking 10 years from now.
My thing about that list is look at the quality of the women that the top ones are going against. And to me, to be a top woman, you have to have top quality opponents to go against. And and I think Rhea definitely had better quality opponents to go against than Toni Storm did. And that's where you got to change that up because the quality of the opponent is like you could be the number one wrestler, but if you keep wrestling SD Jones all year round, it's real easy to win.
You will not talk ill of Special Delivery Jones.
No. I'm just saying is the quality of stuff like that. It's like Toni Storm in AEW. Give me some women that she went against that were even close to her.
But to be fair, I mean, shouldn't she get props for getting such fucking notoriety? You're saying that she's
if you're getting props just for carrying your gimmick, because that's what you're telling me, fine. If you're getting props just for carrying your gimmick. But if you're going to get props, you've got to get props for not just carrying your gimmick, but for backing up in the ring with quality opponents. That's all I'm saying. Give me quality opponents.
You're kind of like comparing like I don't know, like it's kind of like I wouldn't say apples to oranges. I'd say it's like oranges to blowjobs here. Like you have Toni Storm out there, and she is legitimately probably the best part about AEW's whole women's division. But AEW's women division is kind of like nothing.
There's some of the girls of Next right now that I think are better wrestlers than AEW.
Absolutely, I think Julia and Stephanie Vaquero. But as of last year, this year right now, like not going into what could be, what's going to happen in the future. Let's talk about 2024. Gerard, who would you say is the top woman of in wrestling right now?
I would put it with Rhea.
Rhea?
I would put it with Rhea.
Jacob?
And only because of she has all the qualities of what makes a top woman wrestler. She got the look. She's definitely athletic enough. She can go in there and grapple with men if you needed her to, okay? And she comes across as believable. She makes you want to get a ticket and come see her perform.
Jacob?
And, because I'll tell you this right now. Liv Morgan does not do it for me.
Not really, no.
Okay?
Well,
I get the appeal, but...
Liv Morgan does a lot of stuff for me, though. No, I'm just kidding. As far as your question, I can't. I mean, Gerard kind of said it mostly. Like, Rhea Ripley is like the standard as far as like who's the best women's wrestler, who's the best like as far as aura goes. Because like you have someone like Mercedes Moné who thinks that she's more over than she is. And she really thinks that all of this women's revolution is because of her. She really thinks that.
And I disagree with that. That's something I've always wanted to be able to say on a platform like this. And this is what always bothered me. Fuck, the women's revolution had nothing to do with fucking Mercedes Moné.
No.
It started with AJ Lee. It started with someone like Emma. It started with fucking Paige in the fucking beginning of NXT when Emma and Paige had that fucking drag out for the very first women's championship. It started when Paige went over night one to Raw, hit fucking AJ Lee with that rampage, and won.
Let me ask you this, guys. AJ Lee comes out tomorrow. I'm just saying, she comes out tomorrow. Does that blow every woman in the AEW away. If
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's that going to
110%, because they're waiting for it. Like everyone's waiting for it. You know, it's gonna happen. I think we're waiting until the Royal Rumble. I think that's the most.
When AJ
opportune
Lee
time.
music hits, we're all gonna mark out for AJ Lee. Okay, we're all gonna do it.
Well, and here's the thing. I was there back. Let's say this was back 2012. This is during the time they had the feud with CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Kane, and AJ was in the middle. The whole crowd, the whole fucking night. This is a live event. They were chanting for AJ. We want AJ. We want AJ.
All she had to do was come out there and skip around the ring.
That's what she did. That's all she did. She came out. Her music hit. She fucking came out. The biggest pop of the whole night. I'll never forget this. The biggest pop of the whole night, and all she did was skip around the ring and then left. She was never seen again.
Hey, I bet you if you look at Dan's drawers, his clothes drawers, he has an I Dig Crazy Chicks shirt. He has an I Dig Crazy Chicks shirt somewhere.
My wife is 20 feet away from me. I neither confirm or deny that I have that shirt.
Hey, you're taking the fifth, right? You're going to plead the fifth.
Well, and here's the thing, since then, maybe there hasn't been anyone who really captured whoever got over like that, really, as far as besides Rhea Ripley. Honestly, Rhea Ripley has been the only female who's gotten over on both sides, because you could put you could put Rhea Ripley in the middle of the ring against fucking Jey Uso tomorrow night. I'd buy it.
Think about it like this.
Honestly,
we're gonna see Rhea.
Jey Uso sucks, by the way. I'm sorry.
We're gonna see Rhea and Bianca, and we're gonna see Rhea and Jade. Which one do we want to see first? Rhea and Bianca or Rhea and Jade? We're gonna see it.
Well,
I want to. They've
been building for Rhea and Bianca for a year and a half now. So I feel like that's WrestleMania match in Vegas. But I don't know.
I disagree. And the reason I say that is because they're building up Jade Cargill, and if you can get the Jade Cargill that you had in AEW, that was that monster, that was that mouthpiece, that heel Jade Cargill against that tweener fucking Rhea. Just I'm not saying it's going to be quite at that level of a Hulk Hogan, The Rock, but that you could sit those two and just stare down in the middle of the ring for a good minute.
Think about it. We almost had it at Royal Rumble when you had Bianca and Jade. When you had Bianca and Jade standing across that ring for 5 seconds, and the crowd.
You know what? Maybe we're missing something.
Well, and honestly,
we might be missing something. What about this?
Didn't I just bring it up?
And honestly, I agree with Will there. I think that probably would be the money. But honestly, you see, I see Jade and Bianca.
I'm sorry, Gerard, I thought you said Rhea and Bianca.
No, I said at Royal Rumble, you had Jade and Bianca for 5 seconds in the middle of the ring. The crowd popped.
No, for real. No, the crowd popped. I think maybe because I see Jade and Bianca, they keep having these segments with them in the crowd, acting like they're better than everyone. I'm I think the money here is to turn both of them heel, and then see where that goes. Because
and Bianca plays a damn
good Jade and Bianca, if you look at the crowd, how they react to them, they're starting to get over as a tag team. If you turn them heel, then it flips it.
Put it this way, and you know how you turn it with Jade? You go back to what she used to call herself in AEW. What did she call herself in AEW?
That bitch.
There you go. Bianca has that bitch attitude.
Well,
so you could change them both, and if you got to call the tag team the bitches, anything like that, do it. You can get away with it. But here's my question for you, though. With those two women, who do you have them chase or be the chasers of if you turn them heel? Right now, with baby faces, you can have them go against people. But these two monsters, because think about it, there's nobody on the roster other than Ripley, unless you got to tag Rhea and Nia Jax.
I got it. The ultimate sympathy underdog angle you can play, and it may be far off. You may not be able to see it just yet. You have Jade Cargill as your fucking top heater heel fucking monster champion. You let her go on a run, and she gets dethroned by Zelina Vega.
Listen, I'll tell you this. This last legend chick and Jakara Jackson, these two. No, I'm just saying is though, they need work. With everything, they need work. But this last legend chick, she's a monster.
You know who I like in NXT? If we're going to NXT, I like fucking that chick who's in Chase U. And I like fucking Soul Lucha.
Oh, you like Chase U?
I like the cheerleader chick in Chase U. She's fucking awesome.
I think with the whole Lash legend and like, it's unfortunate because we're talking about a stable. Like, she's involved with a stable with fucking Noam Dar.
Thea Hale. That's what it was. Thea Hale.
And Noam Dar has been with the company since 2017. He's been with the company longer than fucking LA Knight has. So,
yeah. Oh, hey, now that you're going to bring him up, let's bring him up.
Okay? Yeah.
Hold on. I got to finish. Look, he got to say who he liked and who you like as far as the best female in wrestling right now. And I disagree with fucking both of y'all.
Did a shock.
I like Big Mama Pump, Jordan Grace. I think she has fucking killed it. I think her style.
She ruined her. Like, she's great in the ring. And again, I don't want to come across as some guy who's
okay, Jacob Guevara, but keep going.
Okay, I don't. Again, I want to come across as some pig here, but
too late.
When she started using steroids, it ruined everything. It ruined her face. It ruined her whole body. Like,
man, appreciate it. I think she's a beautiful woman. I think she just.
I think she's beautiful, but like,
I think
she's beautiful. If you go on a before and after, like, she definitely. She definitely got the. She got the regimen.
Who's the name of the short girl? Works with the brothers. Got the braids.
Chris Bay.
Part of the Alpha Academy there. The short girl.
You said the one with the braids.
She's part of the Alpha Academy. I'm trying to remember her name.
I know who you're talking about. Hold
Thea
on.
Hale or something.
No, Thea Hale's Chase U. And I love Thea Hale.
Who cares? Who cares about Chase U?
The muscle.
See, there was that silence, by the way.
Short girl full of muscle. I'm trying to remember her name. But when you talk about Jordan Grace, I'm like, okay.
You don't mean Alpha Academy. You mean American Made.
American Made, yeah.
Oh,
she's with the Creed brothers.
Ivy Nile.
Ivy Nile, okay. Jordan Grace, Ivy Nile. All right. Give me a match with those two.
They started that at the Royal Rumble. They had a little bit of a back and forth,
and they killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm still going to say this. Like, I think, again, Jordan Grace can wrestle anybody. She's done amazing stuff. She's wrestled people twice her fucking size, like Jessica Havoc. She's wrestled the crazy style that came on with fucking anybody that's gone at her. She's transitioned over to NXT and had some real banger matches. The stuff with her and the fucking prodigy Roxanne Perez, you can't fucking deny how good those matches were. Yes, they ended in fucking chicanery.
I am older than Roxanne Perez. You know how much that pisses me off? I'm just like, shit.
Pudding.
I am older than Roxanne Perez.
But speaking, we're going to cut here for a segment. And
she makes more money than you, right?
Is that what it is?
Oh, she'll make more money than I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. Yeah, you know how much.
So you got Rhea. You both basically got Rhea Ripley, and I'm going to say Jordan Grace. But we are talking about divas, and some news came out today about some divas, former divas champions actually, and their mother. As you well know, the mother of the Bella twins was married to one Johnny Ace. And they have filed for divorce after all this. Huh?
It's already gone through.
Oh, either it's already gone through or it's filed or whatever, but they're getting divorced. It's done. It's just done. It's done. It's done.
Well, like, what else was she supposed to do?
Here's my question for you on that, though. Was it okay for him to be cheating on her as long as it never got out? But then once it got out, she basically said, I'm filing for divorce.
I think, yeah. I can't believe that this. First of all, now we can all agree that the Bell Twins are fucking idiots, right? Like,
I'm not saying that. They have a lot of money.
I will say it for the both of you, so it's okay.
I'll say that one of them for sure.
One of them is definitely a fucking idiot. So here we go. I think once again we're dealing with a situation with a family that's fucking weird. Like, again, you ever watch Total Divas or Total Bellas? Like, anytime, like, again, I know the whole thing, like, reality TV is not real, but like,
never appealed to me.
But if you watch like Total Bellas and like what they had to do with, what they're up.
Were you invested in the John Cena storyline? Did you cry when he proposed to her?
I grew up. Okay, listen, man. I was raised by women. I grew up with four.
So was I, but I'm not watching John Cena's love story.
Hey, listen, man. We all have our own things on the weekends, man. Okay, so anyways, if you watch that show, it's very apparent that like these Bella Twins, they have a standard. They want to be, what I'm saying. I'm just assuming, assuming's like, again, it makes an ass out of you and me. But this whole thing is just like, this comes from someone who was kind of forced and kind of was to watch the shit. Who cares? No one gives a shit about the Bella Twins.
Was your remote control broken?
No one cares. The Bella Twins.
Did you watch the Kardashians too, Jacob?
Well, yeah. Well, I watched the Kim Kardashian sex tape, but that doesn't mean I'm going to
keep. Fair, Gerard.
Now, let me go on about this about the Bellas, right? I will say this. I would defend a little bit of Brie just for the simple fact. Once she got into her relationship with Daniel Bryan, she basically stepped away and became a mom. So, you know what? Bless her for doing it. Nikki has still wanted to live her life in the public eye, okay? Because she's so heartbroken because, John Cena didn't want to give it to her no more. And he never wanted to make...
couldn't see him to do it.
Well, yes. Oh, she could. She didn't. She didn't want to live by his rules. And now, mind you, during his relationship with her, was he a very selfish man? I think we all can agree he was a very selfish guy. He's changed his ways for his wife. But
Gerard, you have to understand, from experience, I was a very selfish man in my first marriage. I was a very selfish man in every other relationship. Clearly, they weren't good enough to make him change.
Well, Dan, you have to realize.
I love you too.
Dan, you have to realize, like, Dan, ladies and gentlemen, like, if Trips told Dan to remodel the room right now, Dan would do it, no question asked. But like the problem is that you had a situation where the Bella Twins like never did anything, like they never worked a day in their lives, and then you had John Cena, the king of the castle. It's just, it's a situation. Where was I going with this?
And by the way, I just want to say one thing. Cornette's a pussy. He turned his back. Cornette's a pussy on that. Anywho, I don't know if you guys can just see that. Cornette's a pussy. Now, Dan, you freeze up over there? I think we get Dan froze up. Yep, Dan froze up.
Yeah, it's frozen on his disappointed face, huh?
Yeah. But when it comes to the Bellas and stuff like that, like I said, Brie Bella, I'll give her the pass because she basically stepped away from the limelight. Nikki, she think about it like this. She went after the boob job. She went after the plastic surgery and stuff like that. She went after making it wanted to be all about her.
Well, okay? and you can tell it was just more about, like, for her, it was more about the superficial stuff. Like, she definitely knew. She was kind of going into the golden goose, essentially.
And maybe John was smart enough to realize that, and maybe he just proposed for the show.
Yeah, no, it definitely is I'm like,
oh crap! He had to talk to them to be taken down.
Yeah, no, Dan got intercepted. No, I'm sure it's internet problems.
Oh well, he tells it all the time. In Texas, his internet sucks.
There we go. I see the.
You got to come back with the mask on if you're going to leave us.
No, okay. So what kills me about that is that fucking. I'm sitting here just talking to y'all. All of a sudden, boom! But y'all are still here, so we're good. We're still in it. And J-Man sent me a message, and you damn right I would have left my fucking wife, and she was cheating on me with shit pants McMahon and dookie in on me on a fucking office table. Fuck.
Oh, J-Man confirmed. J-Man confirmed that you're fine.
Okay, hold on.
I like that
now,
though. Like
now it's clear. Now it's official. Dan's fine.
I like that though. Like if you ever went missing, it's like, oh shit, we gotta call J-Man.
You can't call Trish. You gotta call J-Man. The fucking thing is, all I did was this.
Well, we said, hey, you eating slow messes it up because your body's not used to eating slow.
Hold on, we got a comment in the chat. We'll go to the chat real quick.
I said it just as you got cut. I said it. Cornette's a pussy.
Yes.
Well, what other fucking conclusion that you can get to? I gotta tell you, son. I saw that Undertaker. Like, it's fair.
I was talking to Gerard like earlier this morning. I had just got there changing the fucking shit box for the cats, and he goes, "Shit box? I got cats, Gerard." Oh, that's what that is. Anyway, we're talking about Undertaker and Kane. And I like Jim Cornette. I've always liked Jim Cornette. And I think this is why. I like that old school booking that he loves. But man, he's fucking batshit crazy. And he's on the wrong side. And, and I realized it while watching one of his things where he goes, I just can't understand religious people who believe in a floating man in the sky. And I'm like, Jim, the fact that you're still alive and you haven't had a fucking heart attack and you haven't choked on fucking Wendy's hamburgers after all the stupid shit you've done, you should believe in a higher fucking power.
Well, he said himself, he's like, I can't believe that any other rational person would believe in the higher power in the fucking sky.
Isn't Cornette from Kentucky?
King Turkey.
Louisville, yeah.
Yeah.
Louisville, King Turkey. And I love the words of New Jack. And apparently New Jack says if you go to Kentucky and you say King Turkey, they don't like that very much.
Let me ask you this, though. Isn't Kentucky more conservative than Texas?
How he's lived that long, I don't know. But yes.
Well, no, he's lived long on the pure hatred of Vince Russo. Come on, that can drive anyone. He said, "I will live to piss upon Vince Russo's grave."
Hey, wait a minute.
You know what? That's a perfect transition, bro. Gerard. You said the other day.
Bro, I was on P.S. Morgan, bro. They were telling me about wrestling unions, bro.
Let me say this
They
one
were
thing.
telling me you can't unionize a fake sport, bro. It's all fake, bro. Really? You're going to come at me for wrestling, bro? I'm sorry.
Listen, I have a little bit of newfound respect for Vince Russo, bro.
Oh, we talked about it yesterday, yeah.
Yes, just a little bit. I have a little bit of newfound respect for him, but that's, another bat time, another bat channel. I just got a newfound respect for Vince Russo.
That being said, we did talk about the women. We talked about what's going on, but, we talked about Johnny Ace, but there's a guy who's gotten a bad rap, and it really bugs the shit out of me. And I think in his time, he was the man. So let's bring him back to that, being the man in wrestling. Brock Lesnar. Now, I want to know y'all's opinion on fucking this shit with him being fucking blackballed. Look, he was not named in the lawsuit as somebody who did something wrong. Yes, apparently he cheated on his wife. I'm sorry, it's his business. Yes, apparently he likes pissing on people. That's his thing. I'm not here to judge a motherfucker's kink. But should he be fucking
My mind's telling me no.
Well, I'll put you like this. His wife can't really judge him all that much because didn't she kind of leave a marriage to be with Brock Lesnar?
Yes. But again, she was with Marvelous Mark Mero.
But wait a minute, though. it's kind of hard to throw those stones at the windows if you ain't got this. If you don't have the stones,
but fuck their marriage. I'm not going to. That has nothing to do with their marriage. Is it wrong to blackball Brock Lesnar for being brought up in this thing about pissing on people?
Well, here's the thing. From what I was told, he was just given the deal to do something, but he never actually went through and did anything.
Fair enough.
So it'd be like saying, "Hey, I'm going to kill you," but if I don't kill you, then nothing. Hey, it's like, I'll use an example. Somebody cuts you off when you're driving. Oh, I can kill that guy. You don't really kill him. Is it a crime? No, you didn't go through with it.
But again, not that it's his livelihood. The motherfucker's going to be hunting giant animals and barbecuing that shit every week anyway. But still,
he's not.
Listen,
you think Brock?
I don't think Brock Lesnar's going broke.
No, but the thing is, you're not going to tell me he doesn't do some of this for the love of the game. We talked about that. We talked about wrestlers greats of all time and all that.
The way he's been the past 2 years before he did this, I wish I could have seen that Brock Lesnar.
Fuck yeah.
I think wrong timing. I think honestly, like it sounds weird, but like wrong timing as far as us wrestling fans. Because if you watch Brock Lesnar, like when he was like during this past run, he was having a great time.
That's what it's. Remember when Vince stepped down the first time, he was in the building. Okay,
yeah.
He was supposedly walked out.
Yeah,
somebody got to him and probably said to him, "Hey, nothing's changing with your contract. We're going to honor it all." And he was back in the building that night, which goes to show you his character saying he immediately thought Vince is gone. That means I'm not going to be honored.
Vince had these motherfuckers so brainwashed that if Vince isn't there, everything's going to blow the fuck up. And what we've learned in the last year is that it doesn't blow up. If you're connected to that motherfucker, you're going down. But everything can be better without that fuck face.
Well,
guys, I think Brock probably looked at some nude photos that his friends sent him. I think probably that's what it is here. No, I don't know if it's like a sexual thing, like Brock demand, because there's all these rumors that Brock, like that was in his contract, like he needed this paralegal or else, like, and then like I feel like that's kind of weird.
Here's the thing: if that was legitimately in the contract, why hasn't
part of the okay? So again, we all, as many of y'all know, and I know Jacob, you've seen the documentary that my wife put together here. Vince offered her up as a bargaining chip. That's what came down to. Maybe he didn't do anything with her, whatever, but he offered her up as a bargaining chip. That's where the trafficking shit comes up.
Yeah.
Did he do it? Fuck. Maybe he didn't even know about it. What I do know is that he's gotten a fucking bum rap for a bunch of shit, and I don't agree that Brock. I watch a lot of What Culture. Right? I love those are my guys.
I just see Will's comment right now. It's like
so, and watching that and watching.
Sorry,
that
I don't mean to laugh.
No, hold on.
Hey,
I'm
Jacob.
sorry, it's terrible.
Hey, me and Dan had this conversation. That'd be like Andre the Giant being your proctologist. all I can say is ouch.
But I'm saying, like Brock is, say what you want about the guy, right? He's getting fucked on this deal, and technically he didn't do shit wrong. He may not even have known that he was trafficking this girl. That's just between, and again, we haven't gone to a court of law yet. We don't know what the fuck has happened yet. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who has what evidence. What we do know is that his name was brought up. I watch a lot of What Culture. Some people like fucking like Wrestle Talk. Some people like fucking PWI. Some people like that douchebag David Meltzer. Fuck that guy.
You don't support Wrestle Talk?
But I like What Culture, and every other day they're saying, when they bring up Brock Lesnar, they're saying, well, ew, Brock Lesnar. No, go fuck yourself, right? That's his kink. He likes to piss on people. I don't give a fuck. What you're doing is you're fucking placing guilt on a guy who didn't do shit technically. She didn't claim him in the lawsuit as he fucking assaulted her. She never claimed anything. What we have is a guy in Vince who trafficked her. We had a guy in fucking Johnny Ace who was the trafficking. Fuck that guy. We don't have Brock Lesnar doing what they're in any way, shape, or form with a smoking gun. So I'm not going to dog out Brock Lesnar. One, he could probably kick my ass, and two, I don't need him as my proctologist. Just saying.
I'd submit. Done. I'm good. Done. I don't care what I got wrong with me. I'm good.
I don't know. It's a bunch of bullshit as far as Brock goes.
Well,
I mean,
his silence. I will say this: if you think about it, his silence on this and not doing anything, I would say he's enjoying going to his daughter's. What is she, a shot putter or gymnastic track meets?
Yeah, I think she's shot putter or something like that.
And I'll tell you this right now: if when you see the kind of man he's being off when he's not doing this, and he's not coming out and saying nothing, that goes against his character too.
Yeah.
Well, and just like Brock is just like from any accounts, like he's just a loyal guy. Like he's been like with like Vince has given him all his opportunities essentially, and essentially he's Vince is his wingman essentially. I don't know.
I can't knock a guy like John Cena came out and was really loyal. Daniel Bryan at the beginning of this was really like, hey, he was like and where I don't.
Yeah, but Vince is sending fucking naked pics of women to Daniel Bryan's phone.
Fair enough, but a lot of these guys were talking positive.
That's because his phone doesn't get naked pics.
He gets pictures of crops and like cauliflower.
No, his phone is so old he probably can't even take pictures.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think Daniel Bryan even has.
He gets telegrams and Morse code. He doesn't get fucking beep 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 beep.
Daniel Bryan is still back in the farm ages.
I mean, heck.
So that being said, Brock was a big deal. But now we're going to come out to what this whole thing started about. We're going to bring it full circle. I've kind of hinted at it. Gerard's kind of hinted at it. Who is the fucking man right now? We like if you look at the thumbnail, you're going to see some Swerve. We're going to see some Darby. We're going to see some Roman. We're going to see some Cody. But I want to see some real fucking stand by your fucking convictions. Who's the man in fucking wrestling? And I went with Gerard first last time, so I'm going to go with Jacob. Jacob, who's the fucking man in wrestling right now?
Well, I mean, it's kind of fucking obvious. It's the one, I wouldn't even say person, it's the one thing that's really driving the state of any like wrestling right now, whether it be fucking AEW, New Japan, WWE. The one guy who is really at the top is the guy who's leading. Like he was last night. It was beautiful. He had a main event match against Bully Ray. It's Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, Jinder Mahal, by the name of Raj Desi. He's really setting the fucking wrestling world on fire. And like, if you go and watch, like if you just go on Twitter and watch the gracefulness that this guy hit the table when Bully Ray slammed him through it. I know we have to get main event talent like Bully Ray over in 2024. And I think Bully Ray definitely deserves a spotlight. But Raj Desi, FKA Jinder Mahal, I think we really have to give a fair, a real look at, because really his potential, like,
I know you like him.
No, he's here. No, Dan, hold on. Dan, hold on. He's here, and I want him to see him here. All right, that's where we're at. No, but realistically, the leader right now in all of wrestling is, of course, the fans. Like, realistically, like, it is the fans.
I see you feel that in his mouth right now for the fans.
Yeah, it's the fans. It's the fans specifically of Jinder Mahal and like what he can bring to the business. And like, you get this guy, he like, listen, he's an inspiration, not just to Indians, but to Canadians as well, because he is from Montreal, wherever the fuck he's from. And, now he's bringing them all together. All right. So once again, I think Raj Desi, aka Jinder Mahal, should be the face of all of wrestling, independent, and AEW as well. So, Tony Khan, I know you're listening to this podcast, but I think it's time, Don't just bring in the Maharaja. No, but like realistically, the leader of now is the fans, and the fans of Jinder Mahal too, because he's really like all walks of life. We're bringing them all together.
Dan, can I interject here?
I need to do a restart. I didn't know if the fucking computer shut off or is my internet fucking up. That's why I'm hearing all this. But that's okay. That's okay. You know what? Everyone's allowed to have their own. Because I was going to say Repo Man,
Okay.
but hey, that's fine. Gerard, who's the man in wrestling right now?
This is what I'm going to start with. Title belt. Hogan. Austin. Okay.
Are you saying that the man in wrestling has to have his own beer? Is that what you're saying?
No. Merchandise. Who's moving the most? And to me, the man right now, the person who's moving the most, might not technically be the greatest wrestler. Might not technically be, what everybody likes. But because he's making the most money, and I'm not talking about he's getting paid the most, but he's making the companies the most money, would obviously have to be Cody Rhodes. Only because he's bringing in the most. That's what it is. He has turned the Fruity Pebbles and the Cody Crybabies into money. I don't like to say it because when he was, I can go back to when he was Stardust, the gimmick sucked. But now that and realistically, we have to look at who's making the money. And that's with his merchandise, the way he's moving it. Yes, are there other people out there who say, hey, just because of what he's bringing in, you don't have to be the top guy wrestling wise, but if you're putting in this like John Cena was, Steve Austin did it, Hulk Hogan did it, the merchandise sold those guys. If these guys ain't selling merchandise, they ain't they're not the top guys if they're not selling this. Putting asses in the seats and doing this, that's what makes you the man. And until somebody can put more asses and sell more merchandise. Now, LA Knight is close on the merchandise. LA Knight is close on the merchandise.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's not putting the asses in the seats like Cody is. It's in the old days when if you were on the card with you hated Hogan unless you were on the card with Hogan because then you knew your pocket was going to be fatter. Okay. Back in the day when they used to run two shows, you'd have the Intercontinental Championship on one show and Hogan on the other. Until Warrior came along as the Intercontinental Champion, there wasn't a level playing field. But now when you have like when you have your maybe once a month super shows where everybody shows up, the guys don't get paid that way anymore. And that's it. And that's but that's like I said, I hate to say the fact of Cody Rhodes having to be the man, but he's the man just because of merchandise and what he brings to the whole show.
It's fucking weird because like if you go back like when Cody was in AEW, like they were throwing his belt back at him and they were throwing his merch back at him. And
look at his last promo in AEW. Look at that last promo.
Yep.
He knew what he told the fans. Basically came on and told them, you guys have helped me make this company, and because of you guys, you are making me leave this company.
Well, yeah, because
be fair.
The fans have just, ever since Cody left, it's gone downhill. And then, you have someone in the comments saying that Jinder Mahal has nothing on Cody Rhodes, and I got to say that the greatest member of 3MB of all time.
Heath Slater.
Yeah, Heath Slater is the shit.
One-man band. Come on, man. The one-man band.
I will say this. I will not agree with Jacob that Desi, whatever the fuck his name is, Jinder Mahal is not the fucking top tier guy. He's not the man. I'm sorry. Jacob, hit a bust your bubble. I think he's trash. I think he got on the roids. I think he's fucking I don't. I
He
think
didn't do the roids right.
He just looks like he has a horrible body odor. I'm sorry, just everything about the guy makes me disgusted. I'm not a fan.
Well, I feel like
Anyway.
that's a tad racist, man, and then we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that
It has
another
nothing
day.
to do with racism. I just feel like he's not a clean person. He just even when he wore a suit, it looked like it just Bastion Booger. I mean, that was your guy. He reminds me of
Bastion Booger. Well, hold on.
That being said, Gerard makes a great point about merchandise and what have you, and the Cody Crybabies and all that shit. And I was on the bandwagon for Cody being at the top of WrestleMania, but it's been 6 months, and what the fuck has Cody done with it other than get more stale, more boring? And you could take your merchandise sales, and that's all good and fine. Great, have great merchandise sales. Great. I can have merchandise sales, and I can have my fucking, if I had 3 kids bitching at me, buy me Cody belt, buy me Cody t-shirt. Yeah, that's where they're getting their fucking merchandise sales, from a bunch of bitching ass little kids wanting to buy Cody t-shirts. Good deal. But the man in professional wrestling right now, the man, and I look, and I'll even say this too, in the fucking chat. We had someone mention Jon Moxley, and is Jon Moxley a badass to me? Absolutely. I think Jon Moxley is getting over as one of the most fucking vilified characters you can be, and I think Jon Moxley is great. Hold on.
How?
But if we're talking about the man right now in professional wrestling, it's a guy that you would never have caught me 5 years ago even saying any kind of praise to. I would have said, this is bullshit how you're winning a title over my favorite fucking wrestler, Wyndham Rotunda, right now. This is bullshit how you're constantly burying the character of The Fiend. But the guy that I think is the man right now, and all I need to say is 3 fucking letters, because every time he comes to an arena, I don't have to say it, the fucking audience is screaming it, to where it's audibly, you cannot hear anything, and it's a eruption, it's a roar. Not since the days of fucking Hulk Hogan WrestleMania versus the Ultimate Warrior I heard screams this loud in a fucking arena.
CM Punk.
He said 3 letters.
Oh,
clean those ears out, kid. Clean them.
OTC. 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 You hear that epic-ass fucking music. You see the motherfucker with his little fucking man bun, his beard. He comes out, he wrecks shop, and say what you want. The guy can fucking wrestle. You've seen him do Undertaker-style dives over the ropes. You've seen him in a storyline that's been going almost 4 fucking years. Talk about merchandise. They have the trashiest, stupidest, lamest fucking merchandise, and it's flying off the shelves. His fucking OTC t-shirt, cheap as shit to make, and it's off the shelves. His new shirt his cousin has, they're not the ones, already fucking selling out. The fucking Roman Reigns hand fucking punch shit that looks stupid and gaudy as fuck, selling the fuck out. You're talking about merchandise, great. Cody can have the little kids. Grown men are walking around in OTC shirts. Don't believe me? See them. I've seen people, I'm like, what the fuck? Wrestling's cool, and adults are wearing OTC shirts. Roman Reigns is the man right now in wrestling for me.
Well, honestly, Dan, I think you're I think you're out of line, because I think many people are going.
I think you've upset.
I think many. Well, J-Man's pissed, but no, I think many people are out there just wearing Hangman Adam Page T-shirts.
Well, I did not even bring up Hangman.
And I think that we have the same amount of people. Do you see the problem here? Like, there's no one in AEW who has any type of buzz like Roman Reigns. There's no one in AEW who has any buzz like fucking even Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry's not even in fucking WWE.
Say his name and he appears.
Roman is the gen merch goat, but not the work goat. I mean, okay, well, we're getting Will's opinion here. I mean,
wait a minute, time out. Hold on.
He still thinks Kenny Omega is going to come back and be the world champion.
If he wants to talk about work rate, I'll tell you this right now. If the guy could if he didn't just have a kid, Logan Paul, could you imagine a Logan Paul versus Will Ospreay match?
Well, I mean, can you imagine a Logan Paul against fucking Moxley match? Because Moxley would just want to bleed out of his fucking forehead for 5 minutes, and then, that's supposedly the greatest thing ever. Like, listen, man, you had Moxley and Bryan Danielson in a match together, and it looked horrible. The fact that you had these 2 guys in a match together that looked like it was embarrassing. And unfortunately, that's the best Moxley has ever looked in the past like 5 months. Because
like
Cornette calls him Plumber Mox. I mean, it's valid, but like the last match he had, like when he was against Danielson, I intended him to like I thought he was taking steroids or something.
Hold on. I'm gonna put this comment up. To be fair, you didn't piss off the panel.
You didn't piss off no one, Will. I just say like.
Here's a question for you. Okay.
I think Will has too much stock in Moxley, and I don't know if he put a bet on him or nothing. I don't know.
If AEW ever wanted to do it right, if they ever could have done it right, when you first had Moxley coming out to that song, Wild Thing, why did you try and get in touch with Charlie Sheen? Just
because they didn't want AIDS in their arenas.
No. What I'm saying is, though, something like that, WWE would have tried to capitalize on something like that, though. I'm saying is, you capitalize on what you're going to use. I don't watch Major League 2 anymore because of that damn song. I can't stand it anymore. Okay? He needs to change up. You can't keep coming out with that song and be a heel. Change it.
They did.
Okay? Oh, so he no longer comes out the Wild Thing anymore?
No.
Okay?
He comes out to his New Japan song.
Oh, either way, it's shit. So
right.
I don't know. Like you can take a shit on the side of the road and then.
So.
Oh my God! Is like really? If it wasn't for Mox, you wouldn't have Seth Rollins. Come on!
So okay, hold on. This is what I think the bigger deal is. Fuck the comparisons to.
I think you wouldn't have Seth. I'd agree with him on that. Like, you wouldn't have Seth.
Let's get away from that. What I'm saying is the bigger deal is all three of us came up with somebody. Whether Jacob is a nut and came up with Jinder Mahal or whatever, and of course you have Gerard coming up with Cody and me coming up with Roman.
No, I said it's the fans. I was just joking on Jinder Mahal, but Jinder Mahal wins.
None of us had anybody from AEW. There's not even a comparison right now as far as us three.
Because none of them are putting people in the seats. All you got to do is look at their attendance figure.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to be I'm going to put Mox is going to run the fucking with him and Claudio and fucking Wheeler Yuta. Stop making Wheeler Yuta a thing. No one gives a fuck about Wheeler Yuta, okay? Like, listen. It's like Mean Girls. Stop making fetch happen, okay? Stop making Wheeler Yuta happen. There's not a goddamn person.
I never thought I would hear it, but a Mean Girls fucking quote on a fucking Mark's podcast.
Well, so like it's the same fucking thing. Like, oh, Wheeler Yuta shows up on a Wednesday and they don't know what the fuck to do for him. Let's make him a thing. Hey, Stop making Wheeler Yuta happen. He's like, I wouldn't say worthless because there's probably someone out there
John Moxley actually believes he's bigger than the title.
Well, okay. Well, John Moxley also huffed fucking paint fumes at one time. So, okay. I'm sorry. He went to rehab. He's okay now.
No,
but like,
he thinks he's bigger than the title. And I'm going to tell him, if I was right in front of him, I said, John, you're not bigger than that title. You're not.
Wait, but you don't like it.
Like, John, you're not bigger than that shit.
Isn't he bigger than the AEW title?
He's not bigger than the shit I just took in that toilet over fucking 5 minutes ago. Dude. Okay, but here's the thing: if I start a company and I give someone the title 3 different times let's break it down. John Moxley, all right, great promo, all right, cuts a great promo when he's sober. All right, when he's sober, he cuts a great promo, and then like I can't talk shit, but like whatever. Who else is in this position who got the title 4 times and is now in some type of position and power? Like, where is this going?
I have a message that apparently Google's censoring people. Okay, but this is directed towards Jacob. I'm not pissed. I'm just mind-boggled for what Jacob is talking about. I don't hate him. He's entitled to his opinion. If he's joking, he needs to bring bullet points and reasons why the person he picks is the man. You upset our audience so much about.
Yeah, they're texting him privately.
You got a personal DM. So here's the thing. All right, so let's go into the bullet points of why Moxley sucks. All right, let's go.
We're talking about you loving Jinder Mahal.
Oh, okay. So let's go into the bullet points of why Jinder Mahal is great. All right.
No.
So Jinder Mahal. All right. So Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal became WWE champion on a whim, and then you hear it in the excitement of people's voice. You hear it in JBL's voice himself. He's hell is frozen over. Jinder Mahal is the WWE champion. You can't fake that, all right? So here's the thing.
Jacob, you know, Tiger LEC, okay, was 10 times better than Jinder Mahal.
I agree, but here's the thing.
Ali had a better presence.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Jinder Mahal has won a Punjabi prison match. Great Khali has not. I rest my case. All right. So here's the thing. Jinder Mahal
in TNA has better in-ring athlete than Jinder Mahal.
Well, and you know what? Jinder Mahal is better than fucking Hangman Adam Page. So you know what, Will? Where is the lie, motherfucker? No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like, Jinder Mahal is probably going to achieve better than Hangman Page ever did. They can give Hangman Page the belt 2 more times because that's what they're going to do, obviously.
Okay, and then what is your hate boner for Hangman Adam Page?
Oh, I just think he sucks. I mean, you know, he looks like crap. You know, I think he sucks balls.
Hold on. See, here's the one thing I'll say about Hangman Page, and I hope you guys might agree. He's not a bad in-ring performer. He's just being given very bad creative.
I think if you put Heath Slater and Hangman Page's like area, like you get the same opportunity. Like you put Heath, like he's Heath Slater, just like with a mustache, basically. Like that's how he's always been to me.
Now listen, Hangman Page gimmick. Okay, if his gimmick, if you didn't change him back and forth and back so many times. If you kept him on one direction, here's the problem with him. He is a victim of backstage politics.
They've changed him once. He was a face, now he's a heel.
He's a victim of backstage politics, though.
He's just a victim. That's all he's always ever going to be, just a victim. It's sad. Okay. Like if I was CM Punk, I'd want to choke him out too. Or I'd want to.
I like Hangman and Page.
But we all know you do, Dan. You know, like
I haven't gone out in a fucking whip just because I have a Hangman Adam Page mustache does not mean that I'm fucking in love with Hangman Adam Page. Anyway, the thing with Hangman that I like and I've always liked is I think he's a great wrestler. I love his gimmick. I like the heel version of him more. My issue with Hangman Adam Page has always been and will always be that he needs to keep his fucking mouth shut.
The whole
workers' rights fucking gimmick shit that he went on with CM Punk defending Colt Cabana, which he should have kept his fucking mouth
said shut. He's cared more about Colt Cabana than Colt Cabana's mom has ever cared about Colt Cabana.
Apparently, whatever. Well, what I'm saying is that was my issue with fucking Hangman and Page.
I'll put you like this: you think CM Punk minds?
No.
I don't think. Well, CM Punk's going at fucking Mindy's Bakery eating muffins right now. He does not give 2 fucks. Like CM Punk he's laughing all the way to the fucking bank. Hangman Page, if you ask Hangman Page about CM Punk, like in an interview, like you could see the sourpuss on his face probably because
why can't he go to Saudi Arabia?
Well, because he doesn't want to.
Who? No. Okay, yeah, that's another thing we need to talk about. CM Punk. So, as of right now, CM Punk is injured in storyline. The reason he's not going to Saudi Arabia is he made some comments about how that every time they go to Saudi Arabia, I believe they said it was blood money. Look, and if he feels that way, he feels that way. I'm not going to sit here and knock the guy. I think that's fantastic. I would not. You know, there's no amount of money you could throw at me to go to Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. I have my fucking morals and standards. And the reason I say that is, and it's going to be a controversial discussion piece. There was a reporter by the name of Jamal Khashoggi, and he wrote some very defamatory things about the Prince of Saudi Arabia. It is not without speculation. I'll say some speculation, but they believe it's true because they saw someone get the body parts get taken out of the fucking consulate. They killed Jamal Khashoggi, cut his body up, and got rid of the body. The last time he was seen was with the prince's fucking people. And yet, right after that, we're doing the WWE is doing a deal with Saudi Arabia.
Not even like a week afterwards, too. Like it was
a lot of people, and I'm completely in agreement. If you feel that way, feel that way. Don't go. I don't usually watch the Crown Jewel events. I'll see fucking clips. I'll see whatever, but I will never support one of those events. That is my personal opinion, my personal belief. I'm not going to do that.
How much did Sami Zayn take to put? Because remember, Sami Zayn is of Syrian descent,
and he wasn't going for the longest time.
Politically, he kind of suffered from that. Like if you watch during that era, that's when he kind of went down the card.
How much did he finally agree to get paid to go?
It wasn't about money. Something had happened. I think they had come to a peace agreement or something like that. He was showing support that had happened. I don't think it was about money because Sammy's also, again, his mother, one of them is Syrian, and when he went over there, it was only after some peace agreement had been reached.
He had it because he
like
to go over and get lynched.
Yeah. I just see the whole like Saudi Arabia WWE things as like an alternate universe kind of thing because I remember I don't know if Dan really remember like back in like when this first like got announced like during the like WWE Saudi bullshit. Like I talked to Dan about this and it was like out like that women weren't going to be involved in it.
Yeah.
And, like Dan was telling me, he was just like, well, why? He's like, well, women aren't going to be involved, so I'm not watching it. And I'm just like, well, I kind of feel like because it was a total thing. And now every time they have women there, like they're covered head to toe, they're wearing bodysuits and shit. And it's just weird,
Let me ask you guys this: if they were allowed to go to the People's Republic of China, are they in Saudi Arabia?
Are they Uyghurs?
They're not allowed in China.
I know.
But I'm just saying is if they could go to China and put on shows in China, do they go to Saudi Arabia?
Well, when was the last time that they even put a show in China, though?
They did it was a couple years ago. They
Hong
did that.
Kong. I think they were allowed in Hong Kong because of how Americanized they are, or Beijing, but they're not because they're programming, if I'm right, not even allowed in China. Because
and here's the thing, like the whole like WWE in Saudi Arabia just sucks in general. Like I think we can all agree on that. Like it generates a lot of money for them and Saudi Arabia, but it's just fucking.
So ultimately, this is my problem with that whole situation. They are using the WWE. They even have a whole fucking like theme, fucking like Universal.
They have a whole store. They have a whole dude. I saw that, and I'm just like,
this is my problem though. They're using the WWE to try to whitewash a history of fucking brutality. That is my problem with it. And I don't, like I said, I know this is a controversial subject, and we don't shy away from that here. We're always very straightforward with any of y'all that watch. I don't have any problem with anybody who's Saudi. I don't have any problem with anybody who's Syrian or fucking Muslim.
It's not controversial.
I have a problem with a fucking regime that kills people they don't like. That is my fucking problem.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, they have it, like, listen, man, like, I was looking at that WWE World thing. They have it like I saw like the videos. I'm like, this is fucking beautiful. I'm like, imagine if they opened that up in fucking like Los Angeles or
Fresno,
Texas.
California.
Yeah, or like somewhere like close. You know what I'm saying? Like I live in Arizona, you live in Texas. Like, dude, imagine they put like a WWE World thing.
Defame, New Mexico.
They open it in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Yeah, no, it's just like right, especially like right now. Like, I was watching this old thing, like they were talking about the old WWF hotel and like the thing in Vegas that was about to open. I'm just like, dude, I'm like, honestly, like right now, if you opened up a fucking hotel,
like a week. Like I went to when they had the restaurant in Times Square. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I went there. Wasn't a bad thing. Was a very niche restaurant. Here's the problem. Here was the problem with that. Okay, they opened it up at a time when the business was booming.
Yep.
With no understanding the fact of this building was enormous. When you had the downturn, people now, it's like when they had two companies and people wanted to be part of the Attitude Era, because remember, they were showing Monday Night Raw live from WWF New York, showing it live. When you got off the Attitude Era, people didn't want to, hey, I don't need to go there because why? When somebody becomes a niche, if I don't go there this week, no big deal. I can catch it again. I can catch it again. I can catch it again. And when you have that mentality on a niche restaurant like that, what happens? The niche restaurant goes away. if you've never been to Planet Hollywood and stuff like that, or to Hard Rock Cafe, you go to the Hard Rock Cafe once or two times. Unless you go to different ones, they don't change the music shit on the walls. It's the same stuff every week. Okay.
Yep.
When you talk about niche, and and that's where we go back to a lot of time with professional wrestling. Some of your characters are niche characters to where it's like, okay, they're hot now, but where can they go with this gimmick? Where can it take you? One like that right now could be when Cody's run is done. Where do you go with Cody? Do you turn him heel and just say, I did it for the money?
That has to be the only way to go. I mean, honestly, because with like Cody, his whole story is complete. His whole story. I wanted to win the title for my dad. Like that whole story. Who's going
to be the guy to close his book? That's my question.
Yeah.
Who comes out and says, I'm ready to close this Cody Rhodes book? My thing about that is this. If the one other guy we have not talked about, which I'm shocked neither one of you bring up, where the hell's Paul Heyman?
I think they're building.
Well, here's the thing. J-Man just brought it up in the chat. Hollywood Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes with Heyman like in his corner, like if Cody just acts like a fucking Hollywood douche, I think that could work.
I don't think he needs him, and here's why.
No, he doesn't need him, but I think like if they really wanted to.
If you watch Cody Rhodes in Ring of Honor when he had the Ring of Honor.
Oh, yep. I saw that a couple days ago.
He was an amazing heel. He doesn't need a mouthpiece. He doesn't need a wise man. So the thing about Roman that works with Roman because that Roman needs that.
No. What I meant by that is, does Paul Heyman have somebody already lined up and take away from the bloodline? Could there be somebody that we don't know about that Paul Heyman could bring in to work against Cody?
Well, I mean, I think so with the like Dan just brought up a great fucking point because I totally had forgotten about the Ring of Honor. Like that was such like people don't realize how great of a run he was a great heel fucking champion in that role. Like I think all you need is just like I think you do a double turn. I think you do some type of double turn with him and Roman or something, and then you bring you bring Arn in, like he's like top shit now. Like I don't know. I think that could work because like, I don't know. But the problem is if you put Cody and Roman, I think Cody and Roman right now is just kind of like wasted. Like I don't know. I don't really see that. I think the money match at WrestleMania is Cody and Rock, honestly.
Well, here's the thing. You can't go back with the ring right now because you have MJF using his ring, okay?
Oh, yeah, no. Look how far that's gone.
Yeah. That's going on. See, here's the thing of that. If you were AEW, you should have found a way to market that thing and have fans actually wearing the damn thing, okay?
The Dynamite Diamond. I said it when that first was established. I said that would be like that could be their like mid-card title essentially because
when Ted DiBiase had his $1 million belt, how many people wanted a $1 million belt? I'll tell you. I was lucky enough on a couple of occasions to actually have it at my house. Okay.
Hold on one second. I'm gonna talk about this in the chat. In the chat, Will has asked, and J-Man had asked earlier. Can I get in real quick? I'll let y'all know straight up. Gerard, myself, and Jacob have already talked about this before. As far as this podcast goes, unless it's a special attraction or a special event or been scheduled before, we don't invite people in openly. You're free to talk in the chat. Like if it bothers anybody, I just want to tell you openly and straight out that to put the nip in that bud right now. It's just we're just talking for 2 hours and then.
Hey, listen, I have no problem if he lives where you said he lives. If he ever wants to meet up privately and have conversations, I got no problem doing that. Because of how close we might live to each other.
I have no clue what this is all about. So.
No, talk about inviting people in to have discussions about wrestling.
Oh yeah, no. Listen. I want to say this. I was privileged to ask on this podcast with Dan XP, so I'm glad that I'm even here. Yeah, this is our shit. You're not invited. No, I'm just kidding. But No, but like realistically, no. It's like I'm glad we got this shit going.
So again, go back to what you were saying.
Who's talking?
Mercedes Moné has a fat ass, and I'd like to say I like to get down on that.
I'm not
like
saying.
If you look at Mercedes,
I was talking about DiBiase, and like I said, a couple of times I had to have the title at the house so that way there because it was going in for repairs and stuff like that. And when I was doing it, and like I'd leave the house and I'd be worried. Oh, I got to make sure nothing happens to that title. Oh, if anything happens to that title, I'm going to be hot. Lucky for me, nothing ever happened to the title. When you see stuff like that it's a niche item that people want, okay? It's like, listen, I wish I had the first Andre the Giant doll. I'd be retired right now from work. Today's crew, think about it like this. Dan, when you're in your 60s, Jacob, when you're there too, give me something from today that you guys say, hey, if I got this today from this wrestler, it's gonna help me retire.
The John Cena
30
spinner
years.
belt.
Huh?
well,
The John Cena spinner belt.
yeah. Well,
I see it over there on your damn wall.
well, how sad that's good. Well, for me, I love the John Cena spinner belt because that's what I was raised on. But for me, like honestly, that's probably going to be like from my era. That's going to be the lasting legacy of it. It's just that belt is going to be is going to be it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. To where you got guys who you go back centuries, like Hulk Hogan had a card. The first 10 copies are worth like $1 million each. The first 10 of them worth $1 million. Guess who owns number one? The person who printed it. But I'm saying rarities like that we can talk about. Today's wrestlers, where will they be in the history books down the road? So when we're talking about the man, which person from this generation, and Jacob, I'll ask you this, which person from your generation right now do you see, hey, I think this guy's dethroned? Because I don't think Andre the Giant will ever be dethroned as the greatest attraction of all time.
Well, without a shadow of a doubt, like, and honestly, like, not to like go past your question, but like Undertaker said it best. Like, if you promote Omos the right way, like he'd be on the same level as Andre the Giant. And I agree with them on that because, like, dude, Omos is a fucking like.
Why would you put Big Show there?
Well, let's see. Well, Big Show is like a fucking like he's a Three Stooges character in my opinion. You can put him. You can put Big Show in any type of environment. Like Big Show's kind of an anomaly in that way. Like if I had a company and I said who's my directive of creative as far as like backstage segments goes or something like that, I put Big Show because Big Show just seems like a funny guy. But I'm sorry, what was your question?
I asked, and if you're going to talk about the man, let's talk about who the throning. Because think about it. I grew up, we had Andre, then I went to Hogan.
Yep.
And then we had a lull. I went to Steve Austin, then John Cena. On the other side, you had Ric Flair. Okay? Then you had Sting. So in my lifetime, I've more or less only seen 10 guys who you can say these guys transcended the business. Okay?
Yep.
What guys today can you guys say they transcended the business to where 20, 30, 40 years from now are going to be saying, now Cena's basically all we can say, hey, he's transcended because he lasted for 20 years in the sport. Which guys today can we say, hey, 20 years from now, we could be having a conversation saying, wow, we never thought this guy would transcend the sport.
Well, honestly, you kind of what's kind of unfortunate that like with that for me, it's going to be guys like Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys. Honestly, the guy who I could see like from my era, because like, listen, I'm 24 years old. I became like a real nerd fan in 2008 when Jeff Hardy was going for the title. So like for me, like, who's gonna last long is guys like CM Punk, because, dude, he was one of the last.
Okay, other than the pipe bomb that he ever.
Shut the hell up, Dan. I'm talking. let me get there. All right.
Wow.
So here we go. All right. So we had CM Punk. Like, here's the thing. If you go and look, when CM Punk had that match with Jeff Hardy, the loser leaves SmackDown match, CM Punk ruined a generation of kid fans because Jeff Hardy left after that. And I'm one of those.
But he
I
had
hated
drug
CM
issues.
Punk.
He had drug issues. That's why he left.
Well, fucking goddamn it, Dan. I knew I didn't know that then, but like during that time, CM Punk. That's when I realized what a heel was. You know, that's when I realized what
Wait,
a
so
bad
you're
guy
blaming
was.
everybody else and giving me shit right now and talking down to me because you didn't know that CM Punk was fucking.
Well, Dan, I was 8 years old. I was 8 years old, Dan. How old were you?
There's no fucking excuse.
How old were you? You were 27 at that age. I don't know.
Something like
I'm
that.
giving you. I don't know how old you are. I don't know. But listen, man, like CM Punk, like as far as my era, you guys kind of have it like easy because you know Gerard grew up in a fight. Like Gerard was carrying bags for Coco Beware. All right, you got to talk to Coco Beware. You got to talk to all these people. Dan had to watch the Attitude Era, and then I had to watch fucking, you know, Triple H.
Ruthless aggression.
I had to watch Triple H fucking Dead Corpse in 2003. That was my fucking.
Hey,
like,
wait a minute.
time.
Mark Henry gave birth to a hand. I mean, you know.
To be true. Yep. No, and it's just like every era of wrestling fans sucks. You know, there's always a dark period, and especially like,
Dan, you gotta
like
put that
now that I look back on it, Jacob must be used to seeing.
33% of what Jacob is saying is true, so that means 2/3.
Yeah, I don't know. So like, I came out of like a weird. I came up at a weird like angle, you know. So like, I was up in the area where I thought, you know, Jeff Hardy was a piece of shit because CM Punk wouldn't make him take a drink, or you know,
like, piece of shit.
Well, okay. Well, Charlize
Victory Road. He was a piece of shit.
Well, okay. Well, yeah.
AEW. He just randomly walked, or I'm sorry, WWE. He randomly walked off on a fucking.
Well,
match.
so let's talk about that too. So like, and here's the thing: like Matt Hardy goes on there, man. I wonder why Tony Khan, you know, tried to make me, you know, me and Jeff could have gone out there, but I don't know what happened.
Because you can't trust Jeff.
Well, yeah, no, Matt has been covering for Jeff for fucking 25 years. Like, imagine your whole identity is just covering for your brother.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna be like, hey, here's one for you. Ultimate Warrior and Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, both had appearance clauses in their contracts. If I'm right, it was about $125,000 every event. So if they decided not to show up, they got docked $125,000. Jeff Hardy, I don't know if he was ever put in that category, but he should have been put in that category because, you know, Jeff in the ring, I will give him his credit. He's a hell of a performer when he's sober. But too many times he's been in that ring and could have put the people he's in that ring with at risk. And to me, there's no forgiving that when you get in the ring because you feel you can do things when you got the extracurricular stuff going on in your body, and you're going to put the livelihood of the guy you're in the ring with. I don't care who you are. You are a piece of shit in my book if you're going to get in that ring not sober.
Well, and
livelihood to somebody else that you're in that ring with at risk because you choose to go that route and get into the ring in that condition.
Breath, though, like, would I also agree with the same thing? But and it's not from alcohol, but stupidity. Bill Goldberg, and before his match with Undertaker, headbutt the fucking locker like he always did, like an idiot.
Yep.
Came out with a fucking concussion and almost broke the neck of one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
I think Dan, you would do that too, though.
No, fuck, I'm not that stupid. I'm like I played football. I know stupid shit. Again, we're talking about the man and this and that. Okay, we'll talk about this. And this is my fucking Gerard, you and I talked about this briefly on the phone earlier. Say what you want about Hulk Hogan, but you look at Hulk Hogan in Japan. I don't like Hulk Hogan. I'm not a fan of Hulk Hogan. I don't like the decisions he's made in the business. Personally, if I could sit down and talk to the guy, great. That would be awesome. But as a wrestler, he's never been my shtick. But the man could fucking wrestle, and whether you believe it or not, in Japan, if you watched him, he was a damn good technical wrestler in Japan. Okay. Steve Austin could wrestle. He could do that brawler style, but he broke his neck, and he had to fucking change it up from being technical to being a brawler.
Correction, Owen Hart broke his neck.
Actually, no. The ring.
The gravity.
The ring broke his neck.
Remember, that's when they had Big Blue, and he landed dead on the center spring.
Yep.
That being said, so this is somebody who I will say will never be, in my opinion, the man. No, not somebody I ever want to sit down and talk to, have no desire to have any fucking kind of correspondence with whoever, is Bill Goldberg. He came in, he got his money, and even now, he's so fucking hopped up and wanting that little bit of glory, he's out there talking to a guy in Gunther who is by far one of the greatest fucking in-ring talents they have today. But he got to get that little extra rub, and he really does believe his fucking.
I don't believe you, Dan. I don't believe you, Dan. I think if Bill Goldberg hits you up tomorrow night, say, "Hey, I want to be on the Marks podcast."
I would never talk to that guy.
Hey, come on! If Bill Goldberg says, "Hey, I want to be on the Marks podcast,"
if y'all want to have that, I will set the matchup to the thing. If y'all can talk to him, I will completely be out of that episode.
Wait a minute, though. If Goldberg gets in the ring with Gunther, and Gunther hits him with like 50 chops, I'm all for that.
Well, and here's the thing: like on what planet do they think that people are going to get hyped between Goldberg and fucking Gunther? Like, legitimately, the fact, again, we're talking kayfabe here. Like, I know Goldberg wants that one match, but I'm sounding like a CM Punk defender right here. But imagine if Bret Hart had that one match. It's just like,
well,
it sucks.
Think about it like that.
This podcast is called Marks, so I'll never apologize.
I'll put it like this: Bret Hart could have had that match if it wasn't for Bill Goldberg.
Yep.
But here's the other thing is in Saudi Arabia, I want Gunther to win that match.
Well, and a lot of people forget, after that match with Goldberg, Bret Hart wrestled a hardcore match with Terry Funk the week after.
That didn't do him any favors.
Yeah, so it's like,
okay.
Can we really? I don't know.
Leading into that, we are literally coming up on time. I have to ask, though, there's things that could be done before in the original, when we first started watching wrestling, and there are things that cannot fly now. One of the perfect examples of things that wouldn't fly now is, and it's something me and Gerard talk about multiple times, Rick Rude putting someone's wife on his crotch. So my question, and the question that I'm posing to the audience for next week, where's the line?
I mean,
it's what the fans make it.
Here's the thing, man. Like you said, the fans make the line until
you said the fans were the man, because that was the most political fucking answer I've ever heard out of anybody, Jacob.
Well, I mean, it depends.
The Jinder Mahal and the fans are the man.
Well, no, it depends, because you saw when Seth Rollins gave or when Corbin gave the end of days to Becky Lynch, it's like, are we really ready to have that discussion, or I don't know.
We better be, because we're doing it in a week.
Well,
yeah, no, I think you have Dominic out there and just wear the tights of fucking Liv. I think you do some shit like that. I think Dominic's over even more than he is.
Ric Flair with the pictures of Elizabeth.
We're gonna get all into that next week.
Oh yeah.
That being said, I'm Dan. That is the Inside Man, Gerard Millette, and the modern day Jaharaja, Jacob McGovern.
Hell yeah.
And we'll see you next week.